Next up on member profiles, okay, look, I know it's not the most exciting stuff in the world. It's the world of credit cards, and it's a world of the little machines that you run through. But let me tell you something, they are critical for business. And I had an opportunity to meet our newest member here of the people that are with us today. His name is Chris Warner, and he's with the BBS Buying Group. And let me tell you something, I was having problems at the time. The guy took me by the hand, wasn't even our credit card guy, and started helping me through, and we'll get into some of that later. But it is a very interesting world, that world of credit cards and businesses, and Chris is here to talk about it. Chris, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us a little bit about BBS Buying Group.
Well, my wife and kids, I have 3 boys. We live in Anoka.
Make great cookies.
Pretty involved there, support a lot of local businesses downtown. But a few years back, I had been in the printing industry for many years, printing and graphics, worked for a couple design firms as well, and had got recruited into the credit card business, and boy, it's been an education. Been very interesting. I currently work for a small group that supports small and medium-sized business owners. It's actually BBS Buying Group, and we go by Credit Card Doctor. We help merchants heal the pain of credit card fees.
And let me tell you something, there is pain involved, and you know why? Because it's so intimidating, and I'll give you an example because Chris walked me through this and it goes right into our next question. The statements are confusing. I don't understand every piece. I just know I had to lump all these fees together, and that was my monthly credit card fees. And with Chris's help, I actually found out that the company that I was with, some things had not happened that I thought had happened, and we'd been paying for a while. Are you hearing that from other merchants? I mean, the credit card statements are tough, and there's issues, and people are searching for answers to their questions, and it's kind of tough to get those sometimes.
Well, every merchant I talk to, almost every one of them, unless they really seriously look at it a lot, says it's very confusing and they don't understand their statements. The reality is it's not that complicated. It does cost some money to move all that money from all these various accounts into your bank account. However, the confusing part is there are so many different ways to bill it, and there's probably hundreds of them, that's what gets confusing for the merchants. Our group tries to help to diffuse some of that confusion for the merchants and kind of get to the bottom line. But like I said, the reality is it does cost a little bit to move all that money.
Right, and honestly, when I was looking at my statements, I had no problem with the fact that I understand that the different players along the line, from the swipe to me getting to them getting it covered, there are processes. I just didn't understand a good chunk of it, and we finally got to the bottom of some things, and he helped us out, which is massively appreciated. All right, so I'm talking to my kid this weekend. He lives out in Montana, wife, couple girls. His wife is a big craft maker. She's going to one of the shows, and my son was telling me about her and her phone and clicking on this thing and running cards. Now, I've heard about it. This is real.
Yep.
And it's available, and it's happening.
Yep, it's mobile processing. The first one, or the most common one out there, is Square. It can be a great solution for small or startup businesses because there's very little cost to get started. There are some other solutions out there that work just as well. And as a business grows, you might find that you outgrow that. There are some limitations to the amount you can process and things like that, and you want to be aware of that when you get signed up. But the original one was called Square, and there is some other competition in the market, but I think that's just going to become more and more common. In fact, I think it won't be too long and most people will be paying with their phones. We won't probably carry traditional cards.
It's going so fast, and you must be seeing dramatic changes from when you first even started this, how many years ago, to today. I mean, who's thinking about my daughter-in-law sticking something on the end of her phone and taking credit cards at a craft show in Billings, Montana? I mean, really?
Yep.
Insane. One thing you recently helped me with, I got this email and it says you need to be PCI compliant. And that's why I like Chris, because I call Chris up and he answers all my questions. Talk about PCI compliance. What does it mean, and why are businesses getting that, and why do they need to react?
Well, PCI compliance, PCI stands for Payment Card Industry. It's just a set of security standards. It's based on how you're taking transactions. So whether you're using a terminal or a point of sale system or maybe taking transactions over the phone. It's typically a short questionnaire that most merchants, even small ones, anybody who takes Visa has to be compliant. It is important to your business or organization that you are in compliance. If there is ever an issue with a card number being traced back to your business that somehow got stolen, it's very important that your business or organization is in compliance, or it can be very costly.
All right, so if I'm sitting at my computer, I'm thinking about some of the members out there, I come across this email, first thing I think of is no way. And then I read a little more and it's like, maybe I better. And then I open up that questionnaire and it scares the bejesus out of me because I'm just not comfortable. Can I call you? And will you come and will you take my hand and will you walk me through that whole process?
Well, one of the things about myself and our group is I am a consultant. I am in it to help the small business owner. That's part of my job. There are situations where maybe someone isn't a customer but has questions. I try to help small merchants with that. There's another guy in the Twin Cities that I work with. We are a Minnesota-based group, and him and I kind of work the same way. We are more in it to help people out with questions. Like I said, it can be confusing, but it doesn't really have to be.
Absolutely. And I'm going to ask this next question, but I bet a bunch of you out there have already got the answer when I ask it. There are a million options of credit card opportunities and companies that you can go with, and I've dealt with numerous ones of them at the Chamber. Why Credit Card Doctor? Why Chris Warner? Why BBS Buying Group?
Well, one of the advantages to our group is we do, like I said, work with a small and medium business owner, put them in a group, and can oftentimes lower their costs substantially. There are times when a merchant could certainly spend a lot of time and negotiate a very good processing deal on their own. However, they don't have the leverage of our buying group. We help small and medium businesses to compete with Walmart and Target because they aren't paying a lot of the marked up fees that maybe a smaller business has with going through a bank or a broker or someone like that. So we are definitely more sitting on the side of the merchant than anyone really else I've ever seen. That was one of the reasons I had joined this group. I'd worked for a couple companies, I worked for some processors. I was just one of the bunch. Now I'm more supporting the merchants.
The bottom line is that he takes the time. I mean, I'm calling him on questions. He does not have to come to my office. He does not have to answer them. He wasn't my credit card company for the Chamber at the time. He didn't have to do any of that. He did that stuff. He also promised me that once I come in, I'm also not leaving that. If you have questions, I will be there. That to me is everything. The service part of this thing is everything. And let me tell you something. I made a costly mistake on some things, and that cost the Chamber money. And we're going to get that right. We already have, actually, but it's very easy to miss stuff, and it's very easy to question stuff, and Chris is there to do it. All right, we've teased them. There's some business people out there. They want to talk to you. They want you to come out, just take a peek. How do they get a hold of you?
Probably the best way initially is by phone. I am listed on the Chamber website under Credit Card Doctor. My phone number direct is 612-280-0253. If you prefer email, that's also listed on the Chamber website. That's probably the easiest way to get it.
Great. He is Chris Warner. He is the Credit Card Doctor. He is with a group called BBS Buying Group. I'll tell you what, he helped me tremendously. He got our credit card scenario at the office clean, and it wasn't. There were issues, there were problems, there were lots of questions, and it was a struggle, and it's not a struggle anymore. Thanks to Chris and his group, I urge you to give him a call. And he's also saving us some money. We like that. And he's also making us some money for the Chamber, their group. As other Chamber members come in, Chamber also gets a little piece. We throw that right into our scholarship fund going out to area schools. That's a pretty cool win-win. Chris, number one, thanks for all the help. Thanks for all the phone calls. And thanks for coming to the office. And he brings his kid in, and the kid mixes up a mean chocolate chip cookie. And we always like that, too. And again, we're talking backyard here. The guy's in the area. If you got a question, it's not like he's coming from Ontario. He's here. So, Chris Warner, Credit Card Doctor, thanks so much.
Thank you.
You bet.